Elephant Extraterrestrial Race. Hello, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. Welcome to my channel. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. I am writing this in English on the morning of August 17, 2025. I've known about the existence of the elephant extraterrestrial race for just about all my life, yet I had never bothered to research them well until now, when I felt it was the right time to talk about them. There is a strong tendency on Earth, and especially in the extraterrestrial research community, to think in terms of polarity, and not inclusively. If one thing is something, then it cannot be something other. In terms of extraterrestrials and their research community, their origin is either interdimensional or extraterrestrial. Hardly ever, if ever, do they consider the possibility that they could sometimes be both, that some may be only interdimensional, and others may be extraterrestrial but not interdimensional, as they would be in the same existential realm as humans are on Earth. Of course, we would have to define what it is to be interdimensional to those researchers, because I honestly do not understand all their definitions, as I do not see dimensions as they do. I only see one vibratory existential mass, only subdivided by different levels of consciousness awareness, which defines the level and extent of perception any individual may have, regardless of where it may be. The extent of perception each individual possesses is the reality it can perceive, its world, its understanding of cosmology and so on, which all depend on the level of consciousness it has managed to develop. And that level of consciousness and awareness is what defines an existential realm, which I believe is what those researchers see as a different dimension. For me, a dimension is a physical realm which derives from a density, defined by the frequency and vibration of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of those who generate and experience it as their reality, which as an illusion appears to be outside of them. But I digress. It is here that we come to study the series of highly interdimensional races, being that some of them are entirely so, as they dwell only in what we could call the astral realms, and others appear to have a foot in what we call the material world, and another in the etheric realms, being that they can manifest themselves in both at will. The clearest example of one of these races would be the Urmah, as they are quite physical, yet they are also masters of the astral. Then we come to the subject of this video, the elephant star race, which is called Elephantes, but that word is the best translation I can come up with, as the name they are known by as registered in the Galactic Federation archives is long and quite unpronounceable, Hephalenterixinea tears. This star race is mostly astral, as seen from our point of view. Remembering that everything is astral, and they live in what they experience as their particular material realm, but which has other natural laws as their existential kingdom, or density is much higher than ours. We are in their astral, as it often happens in these cases, being that the material realm of one or another species is only the range of perception and of understanding they have as individuals and as a collective. The Elephantes are not Galactic Federation members, as they don't see and understand reality as the members of such an organization do, simply because their existential concepts and rules are so different. Their perception agreements are not the same. The Elephantes are higher dimensional beings which dwell in what we call astral realms, which are lighter and were thought manifests reality much faster. As far as I know, only one researcher on Earth has come across information about these beings and classified them as coming from the 8th dimension, whatever that means. As you know, I don't agree with those highly arbitrary subdivisions of reality, And neither do I agree with that researcher in general, so I will not mention his name. Higher density beings, depending on their vibration, do not understand time and space as we do. They hold no meaning. They do not need legs to walk and hands to manipulate solid objects, as all they need is to think whatever they want and need into their existence. This is the case with the Elephantes. They do hold a congruent shape in their etheric bodies, as well as the energy which, for us, classifies them as higher density elephants which mostly dwell in lighter and gentler astral realms. I can describe their realm as having just a little bit of it showing in what we can perceive, being that they are sometimes just touching our existential realm, barely enough for us to see that they exist and just a bit more, hardly enough to more or less understand their social structure, if they have any, but sorry to say, there is a lot more we do not know about them. I mean, all the advanced star races of the Galactic Federation hardly know anything about them. You can forget about the initial idea about how an elephant extraterrestrial race would look, as in big bipedal elephants in spacesuits, and prehensile hands with an opposing thumb, and in big fat starships. Here I must state that there are several other star races which may look somewhat like an elephant, trunk and all, but have an entirely different genetic lineage. I mean, they may look a bit like an elephant, but they are not. But in the case of the Hephalenterixinea tears, the Elephantes, these are elephants in all the name, as their ethereal bodies are the perfect astral equivalent to the concept of elephant we have. Furthermore, we know they are elephants because that is what they have stated that they are, because communication with them is sometimes possible, mostly through the astral, for example, with the Urmah serving as a bridge between their existential realm and our own, although some technological communication has taken place as well, although these events are rare. This last type of rare communication with them takes place as a series of strange trumpet-like sounds emulating hard-to-understand speech in several languages, through muon frequencies, which also indicates to us that they know a lot more about us than we do about them. The content of one of their rare communications states that we, as Galactic Federation members, should give special treatment and consideration to all elephants, in the shape of the big animals we all know, and which are found on several planets, and not only on Earth. These other planets include many in the Pleiades star cluster, many in the Hyades, around Alpha and Beta Centauri, as well as several other planets in the Cygnus, Boötes, Cepheus, and Triangulum constellations, probably among many others, being that elephants are quite prolific as seen from an expanded galaxy-wide perspective. They stated that we should give them special consideration because elephants are their direct manifestation in our existential realm, and that they hold advanced consciousness and elaborate philosophical, spiritual, and ethical frames superior to many other star races, including those with interstellar capability. It is only human hubris, points of view and interpretation of reality, which assumes that a creature that does not have a civilization as it is understood, is mentally inferior, and belongs to the so-called animal kingdom, and is ruled only by instinct. I mention human hubris, although countless other star races may wrongly think alike. Some creatures, classified as animals, have evolved in consciousness and awareness to the point where a civilization as we know it becomes irrelevant. They have transcended the need for buildings, transportation, and social hierarchy. All they need is thought, and what they can manifest with it and with their vibration. They don't need to talk either, not as we know it, as their communication is completely telepathic. Their connection to one another is far greater than what we know from our existential realm. They beam entire blocks of something way beyond information, containing highly advanced concepts and ideas, the very essence of their soul, and share it with one another, thus blurring the concept of self in the process. The Elephantes are the elephants as we know them, as they are the souls which inhabit their big, noble bodies. They are not only in the physical animal we know, as they dwell in higher realms as well, simultaneously, and beyond space and time, so the very essence of what it means to be an elephant is completely unknown and impossible to understand for us, as the animal is only a linear, finite version of them which we can see and touch. Yes, I know, some people may touch an elephant and speculate about what it is without ever seeing the obvious, even denying its very existence, despite it taking up all the space in the room. And then they blame their lack of capacity for discernment on the elephant itself. Sorry, I couldn't resist saying that. I know some of you will understand. Coming back to the Hephalenterixiniateers, or Elephantes, they are the elephants, but not only. We do not know much about them because they do not communicate much, and when they do, it's as if they took control over the communication device using pure manifestation power, and they do not answer questions, meaning their transmissions, if we could call them that, are one-way messages. They only tell us what they want us to know, and that's all. What they have stated is that they have transcended the need for a civilization as we know it, that they are still individuals, but have such a close relationship among all of them, that they can also function as a one-mass elephant energy. What they need, they manifest with thought, and the few things that they need to manipulate physically in their realm are done with their trunk, so they do not need hands as we know them. We could say that they solve everything through telekinesis, but as they are in higher existential realms, that would be an understatement, and as they do not follow our physical laws, that word is unapplicable for them and what they do. We know that they do not follow a social hierarchy as we know it, and when one individual needs to communicate again with a member of another species, but cannot do so for whatever reason, it may ask another to do so in its place, and this last one suddenly holds all the information the first one had, as if it were the same person, yet still conserving individuality. This species has rarely been seen, but they have, and it appears as a luminous elephant which may change color as it moves. They do interact with other species in our existential realm, and always as a guide, or as a highly enlightened all-knowing entity. As reported, encountering an Elephante, or the Elephantes, is life-changing, as it opens the mind to much higher, softer realms full of integration and makes their existence available to the subject. Their mere presence is incredibly elevating, enlightening, and consciousness transforming, as they vibrate so highly, thus causing extreme emotional responses in whoever has seen them. Emotional responses the individual never recovers from, as it becomes far more spiritual, leaving behind, transcending its more mundane interests and needs. There is so much we do not know about the Elephantes, even when encountering them is not that uncommon, as I have just researched. As a highly ethereal species, if they can even be catalogued as one, they do not need clumsy spaceships or to eat food as we know it. Being outside space and time, they just appear anywhere they want to, and transform whoever they encounter, always for good. They are very close to source, as they would need to be with what I just described. They are magnificent astral creatures, sodden with wisdom, love and integration. And one last note to my Alfreton friends before I go. Seeing a pink elephant does not mean that you are in the presence of an Elephante, it only means that it is time to give up the booze. Sorry, seeing pink elephants does not count. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. and I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Marie, who, needless to say, also loves elephants.